Hello everyone, and welcome to episode 176 of the Xbox Hall of Gamers podcast. I'm Matt, and this week I'm joined by Shane.
Hello, hello.
And that's it. We're two-manning it this week. Cameron is off on a farm, apparently. Whatever that means. I didn't ask any follow-up questions, I gotta say.
That's what Matt keeps saying, and I don't believe him. Like, that's what they said about my hamster, too, and that didn't end well.
So a farm, not the farm. Sorry, so there is a distinction.
Okay. Rest in peace, Cameron. You'll be missed. We love you. Sorry.
Well, let's not get too far. Okay, I'm not. It's fine. He's, I'm sure he's fine, and if he's not, then we'll do a heartfelt farewell. But how you been? Shane? It's been a few weeks. I've been away for a little bit. Was away for work and then away on a holiday, and there was a couple episodes. There was an episode without me, and then we did a last minute one, and finally trying to get you back on. And so yeah, so how you been over the last few weeks?
Rage-tastic, angry. I think I had a couple strokes. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah, I'm
otherwise fine.
I was like, yeah, I just want to burn the world down, but otherwise things are going great.
There's like fist marks all over my wall right here. It's fine. It's all fine.
I'm just thinking like, what was it? Adam Driver in A Marriage Story, where it's like, I just fucking smashed it. Yeah, exactly. Oh man. As always, we do this show live on Twitch. Xbox Hall of Gamers is the place to find us. Come say hi, hang out in the chat. We got Left Legacy in here. Legacy is asking if Cameron is playing Farming Simulator. That's a good question. He might be. He did just say he was on a farm, so he might actually just not. It might be just a VR thing. Who knows? But yeah, come hang out in the chat. We love all the support, and we do the show live, because we want to try and get as many people in here as possible, and we like the feedback, and we try to interact with the chat and answer questions as they come through while we're recording. Speaking of questions, we do actually have one from our good friend Red Ninja Dan. Oh, sorry, yeah, who's joined the Discord recently and has been asking a lot of questions and getting involved in discussions and stuff. It's been really, really great. Fantastic community member. He says here, what is one game that you guys want a squeal to, which I think he means what it wants a sequel to, or a new game with the same style. He'd want Man-Eater 2 or something like that. The idea of like Man-Eater 2, but maybe with a different animal, like a crocodile or a lion or something. But is there also an obscene, which I think he means obscure, game from your childhood that would you also like to remake?
Maybe he doesn't mean obscene, man. I want the Man Show 2. I'd be really down for that. Less illegal this time would be great.
Yeah.
The Guy Game. No, Guy Game. That's what it's called.
The Guy Game 2. Yeah, I was just yikes.
Less illegal this time, please.
Yes, please. He's talking about how he'd like a remake of the SeaWorld Tycoon kind of games. But I think it's, like the Tycoon genre is kind of getting a little bit of a renaissance with like the 2 Point games and things like that. And Jurassic Park series has kind of dipped into that piece of like Zoo Tycoon, but just with fucking dinosaurs, which to be fair, dinosaurs was an expansion for the original Zoo Tycoon. So I can understand that. But yeah, is there anything in particular that jumps into mind of like a game that kind of you feel like deserves a sequel or like a game that kind of needs a reboot?
Everblue. I want Everblue 3. Or Lost Kingdoms 3. Too.
Lost Kingdoms 3.
Yeah.
I'd take a reboot or a remake or a sequel or anything.
That's from software pre Dark Souls. Yeah.
Actually, I would love to see what they would do with that series now that they kind of have all that Dark Souls stuff under their belt. There could be some...
yeah, like just Dark Souls with cards? Why has no one done that yet?
Yeah, that's actually a fucking great question. I would... Lost Kingdoms 2 was a little more interesting. It had a few interesting systems, but Lost Kingdoms 1 in particular was such a great, interesting experiment of a game where it's like it was level-based, and you had like secrets, and like I still don't quite know how you got... I managed to get all the 4 hidden beast cards, but I don't quite know how I managed to do that. And it had like local multiplayer, so you could fight each other with card decks and stuff, and man...
That's what I was hoping Phantom Dust would be when they announced it, but it wasn't quite that.
Yeah, I never actually played that. I downloaded it because it was free or whatever. It's still sitting there.
I have it because I think we got it for free for something.
Yeah.
On Xbox, but
I don't know if it's worth booting up, to be honest. But it's sitting in the backlog somewhere.
Oh, that backlog.
I'm trying to think. Was it what else? I'd love to see another Burnout. Like, I think that the Burnout series is kind of overdue for a reboot at this point, or a sequel, or like doing a remake of Burnout 3. I think would go down really well in today's kind of like racing game. Racing games aren't.
Yeah.
They're kind of, again, it's basically just Need for Speed at this point, really, in the arcade genre, outside of like Forza Horizon, but. I feel like it, yeah. I mean, I know, again, Criterion are the ones working on a lot of that Need for Speed stuff these days because EA owns everything. But I feel like there's enough nostalgia for that series and that game and that soundtrack in the same way that they've kind of brought Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 back. That I think, yeah, there's definitely some stuff around like that late PS2. There's a lot of ground of things you can work on there from like series that have kind of gone dormant over time.
Yeah, there's a lot of those. I'm sure they're gonna start getting milked because I mean, who was the company that announced that they're doing a bunch of those? Sega? No, yeah, Sega.
Yeah, Sega.
Crazy
Sega
Taxi,
doing like their
Golden
reboot.
Axe.
They're like
they're doing a bunch of them.
New Shinobi game and
which everyone's pretty excited about.
New Crazy Taxi and like a new Golden Axe as well. Like that would, yeah, they're going back to their old catalog and just rebooting all of them.
Capcom's bringing Onimusha back.
That's crazy. I didn't think that was going to happen, but the new one looks really, really good. Although the English voice acting is, the decision to go with a Cockney English guy for a very Japanese samurai was definitely a choice.
Yeah,
but
that's a choice.
Yeah.
Anyway. Oh, the remake Perfect Dark.
Oh, yeah, that's not happening. Banjo-Kazooie, could you? Oh, no, that's probably not going to happen.
Rare is going to do Sea of Thieves until they die. So.
Well, I mean, again, I didn't put it in the news, but they did just announce that there's a whole new thing where you can now buy custom servers, or you can rent custom servers from them. And
they must be doing well.
Yeah, so Sea of Thieves seems, again, we talked a bit last week around with the layoffs happening, if Sea of Thieves was going to be impacted by this, but realistically, given how well it's doing on the PlayStation, I think that team is probably pretty safe. Like that is now Rare's remit, and I don't think I have a lot else going on.
Not that we know of.
True. But to be fair, they also did the part of the layoffs last week. Definitely were some discussions around like unannounced projects also getting cancelled. So things we didn't even know about.
Yeah. And I'm sure there are more layoffs coming.
Yes. Yeah. Well, there's also some rumors, again, I mentioned last week as well, but I haven't put in the news here, that 343 Studios, Halo Studios now, there is some talk that they are very much not happy with one of the projects they're currently working on. We're not sure if that's the Halo sequel, the next Halo sequel, or whether that's the rumored Halo CE reboot for the PlayStation audience. But yeah, I think tensions are probably pretty high across the Xbox studios at this point.
And morale is very low, I'm sure.
Yeah. But yeah, anything else spring to mind before we move on in terms of like obscure games you'd like to see? Like, I'd love to see another Eternal Darkness or something along those lines. So like, I really enjoyed that.
Oh my god,
Sanity meter.
Eternal Darkness would be so cool.
There's so much, like I said, there's so much stuff from that like PS2, GameCube, and Xbox generation that kind of like were interesting experiments. And it was one of the last times you kind of had that like AA development studios being like, yeah, let's make a couple of interesting things. Development costs aren't so insane that everything needs to be HD yet. Like, we haven't got to that stage. Online isn't really a thing yet as a main thing. Yeah.
Well, you're missing one of the most experimental consoles, and that's the Wii. And on that case, I would love another Elebits. I like that game.
Yes, Elebits was cool. Great. Yeah, that was
you could just do a first-person shooter-ish instead of having the motion controls, but I loved Elebits. That was a fun game.
Yeah.
And I know they made like a DS sequel, I believe, but it was, that's DS. So I would like another first-person full game would be cool.
Yeah, I'm thinking like a Red Steel as well. Like, I really enjoyed that too for the Wii.
Oh yeah, wow! I forgot they actually did make a sequel to that one.
They did, Red Steel 2. It was kind of a very different kind of game though. Like, they went in it was. I mean, again, it had like swords and shit, but it was very much like a very stylized. Actually, what needs to come back?
Lost in Blue is a good one.
Yes, Lost in Blue. What needs to come back is Dead Rising. Actually, now that I played through Dead Rising.
Oh my god! I mean,
the deluxe remaster, and I'm totally with you on your opinion in terms of like, it's a fantastic game that they just kind of made better with that system for the most part. And going back to it, I was like, no, this game is quality. Like, this is fucking fantastic.
Yeah, Yeah, the little fixes they made, what a difference. I just finished the old one too, so it was even more stark. And I'm like, oh, it feels like a game now.
Yeah,
Like, this
exactly.
is fantastic.
But without losing the kind of initial thing that makes it what it is.
Yes, which is what 3 and 4 did.
Yeah,
They're there, but the
just
spirit's
too
gone.
far away. Yeah, four in particular. I mean, three had
Yeah,
a little bit of it, but I know what you mean. Like the
a
fact that
little bit.
the clock wasn't really a consideration outside of if you're playing nightmare difficulty. I think it was. It was like time was
Well, not like that, it just felt gritty. Like you're in a dirty
yes,
city instead of a colorful mall or
mall
Vegas
or
strip, you
Vegas
know?
Strip. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh man.
Speaking of, I think they mentioned like mechanics or spirit or whatever of game two. I would love another Dead Rising 2 style game. Yeah, literally that. Like I don't even want like 3 and 4 level graphics. I just want Dead Rising 2, another one.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
I'm
love
totally
that
with you.
gameplay. It's fantastic.
Yeah, definitely agree. But yeah, hopefully that answers your question there, Dan. Let us know if you've got any other thoughts. Otherwise, go to our Discord and click on the channel there and give us your own thoughts on things that you might want to, think things that have been lost to time, like Tomba and other weird little obscure platforms.
Tomba. That port needs to come over to Xbox. I'll play
Yes,
that for
yes,
sure.
it does. I'll buy that day one. They also need to bring over the other Legacy of Kain games. Actually, no, Legacy of Kain is the correct answer to this question. Actually, is what they need to reboot. They just need to.
Oh,
It just needs
that
to
didn't come
happen.
over to Xbox?
Well, they did the remaster of 1 and 2
Okay.
of Soul Reaver 1 and 2, which
Okay.
highly recommend. Great games to go back to. But that entire series needs like a reboot. It's one of those things that just
Fair.
the stars are never aligned on it happening. But it is maybe just get any Hemic back. Just putting it out there just to write a new one. Like only one of the greatest narrative stories ever told in video games. Just putting it out there. History of Pause and Paradox, all that sort of stuff. Anyway, let's get into the news. So, first story here is GameStop is auctioning off the staple and the stapler that damaged a customer's Nintendo Switch 2. So, if you don't know the story, when the Nintendo Switch 2 was coming out a few weeks back, there was a slightly overzealous a GameStop employee who was stapling the receipts to the boxes instead of like in a bag onto the bag. Unfortunately, because of the way that Nintendo, for some fucking reason, lays out these things, if you look at the box, the screen is face up to the top of the box. So if you staple into it, you staple into the LCD screen. There's no protection on it at all for whatever reason, outside of like a very your standard kind of plastic filler thing, but nothing that would stop a staple. The fact that the box is built that way feels like a massive design flaw, but yeah. So obviously they got replaced, and there was a number of them. This happened to like one big shipment at one GameStop. But as part of this, it became a big news story and a bit of a meme for a while. GameStop is actually auctioning off the stapler, along with the Nintendo Switch 2 that's been fixed as well. Yeah, you can, if you check out the article on VGC, it's very, very funny. But
Wild.
apparently it's auctioning for quite a bit, like millions. Again, it's all going to charity. It is for Children's Miracle Network. And so far, the highest bid for it, I think at the time of this, was $100,000, which is a pretty good amount.
For a stapler.
Yeah, for a stapler, a staple, and a Nintendo Switch. I broke a
And a Nintendo Switch, yeah.
refurbished Nintendo Switch, I guess, at this stage. They said, yeah, it's features authentic field use wear throughout and retired immediately from service. The stapler now stands as a retail legend born from a half-second decision.
Okay. I mean, it's going to charity, so
It's going to charity, right?
that's a little scummy.
Yeah, it's like it's kind of funny, and it is what it is. But
Props to whatever intern or social media person thought that up.
Yeah, I'm gonna check right now how much it's up to. GameStop
$100 million.
auction. Let's have a look. It's on eBay. It is. Yeah, current highest bid is $249,900 US.
Dang. All right.
So yeah, lots of bidders on here. There's a lot of other people selling staples on here as well. There's someone selling a Supreme stapler for $200. So You
Ooh,
know,
supreme.
yeah, exactly.
Does it come with sour cream and cheese and lettuce, or is it just the stapler?
No, it's yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's
It
the
has the
supreme then.
crunch though. You definitely get the crunch. That's the when you bite into it. This one, I can see a stapler here that's shaped like a dinosaur head. Yeah, I'm getting distracted. But yeah, I thought it was again a funny story for something we kind of mentioned. I think in like one of the pre-shows of just like a hilarious thing that happened for people who are very very excited for the Nintendo Switch 2s. We also had. I'm also just going to move this one up. We got Cyberpunk Edge Runners has been officially announced to have another season. The anime based on the infamous Cyberpunk game, I might say. So Edge Runners, Studio Trigger is doing it again. Looks really, really great. Apparently, it's going to be like another anthology kind of thing where it's another season based on just a completely different part of Night
Oh,
City.
okay.
Because like
That's
the
smart.
season one had a pretty definitive end to it. Like the story kind of wrapped up in a way that kind of doesn't really make sense for season two. But this tapestry is so rich for like ideas of like things you could look at and jump into. So really, really excited to see that. It's probably going to be a while before it comes out, but yeah, they kind of just announced it at I think it was Anime Expo. I think it was, yeah, Anime Expo. So yeah, definitely, we'll probably report on that. I've been wanting to jump back into it and maybe do a lights camera action at some stage on Edge Runners overall because I think it's a really really great series.
It
Even
is
if
a
you
video game series.
yeah, well, it's like the thing is like even if you're not a big fan of Cyberpunk itself, the Edge Runners itself is just a really really well made anime. And from a visual perspective, like Studio Trigger does style unlike any
Oh,
anime studio
love
out
their
there.
stuff.
Yeah, Killer Kill is just mwah. All right. Now there's also been some scuttlebutt in the wake of the layoffs last week. There's been a lot of people talking about Game Pass for one reason or another. And one of Arcane's founders was talking about basically the idea that no one is talking about Game Pass as the elephant in the room. And as basically their idea is that Game Pass as a concept has basically damaged the industry as a whole. And that Microsoft is just pumping money into this to basically ruin the rest of the industry. Yeah, I don't know. There's a, yeah, Rafael Colantonio,
Antonio.
basically says, I think Game Pass is a unsustainable model that has been increasingly damaging to the industry for a decade, subsidized by Microsoft's infinite money, quote unquote. But at some point, reality has to hit. I don't think Game Pass can coexist with other models. It'll either kill everyone else or give up.
First off, a decade?
I mean, yeah,
That's not right, right?
How long has Game Pass been running for? That's a good question, actually. I'm gonna check.
There's no way. 2015?
Started in 2017. So I mean,
Oh, almost a decade,
yeah,
I
so
guess.
8 years, I guess. Yeah,
That's maybe sad.
it is weird to think about like Game Pass like being around for that long because it does feel like it's still relatively new and it's one of those new disruptive technologies that has very much changed the gaming landscape. But
And I think that's my first point, is that I don't think it's been around long enough to be able to make those calls. I also noticed that usually it's the people that have either been the people that benefited by Game Pass speak it up, and the people that aren't talk it down. So it's really hard to get a good read on what's actually going on. Because the people that talk highly of it are usually the ones that are on there, and they talk very highly of it. But is that part of the spin?
yeah,
Like, it's really hard to take any of this seriously, for sure.
yeah, that's kind of where I'm at too. That there's an interesting thing around like, yeah, how legit is this? Is this like thumbs up for Game Pass because they gave us a bunch of money to have our product on there? Is like how much is that implicit to be like, well, we can't say we can't talk shit about it because that makes no sense. I remember there was a news story about this around the Savage Planet devs. I'm trying to find
Yeah, I think they were the ones who talked down, didn't they?
yeah. Hang on. So let me just Yeah, Revenge of the Savage Planet studio head claims Game Pass devalues content. See, that's an interesting story because like Savage Planet obviously was they released Revenge on there, and then Journey came back for 6 months onto the thing. But Raccoon Logic is the devs. But
Yes. See, so with that argument, I'd say, yeah, and people said the same thing about Steam summer sales. And people
true.
are still buying those games full price. So, and it's been proven many times that games on Game Pass people are also still buying.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, there's an interesting.
I
There's
could,
been yeah, I'm with you though. There's a lot of back and forth at the moment around like is Game Pass profitable? Question mark, and it's like apparently yes. That like the money they make off of the subscriptions is more than what they're paying the devs to be on the platform, which is that's how the business model works. And you have people like the Rebellion CEO coming out and saying that like Adamfall was a huge success for them because it was on Game Pass, low barrier to entry. But you've also seen people say that like they don't feel like they need to port games to Xbox unless they're going to be on Game Pass because it's just not the install base there. And there's been a lot of talk about how Game Pass has changed Xbox players' behavior to not buy games and to like wait for things to come to Game Pass. And like if it's not on Game Pass, then it just doesn't get bought. But I wonder if that's more to do with the fact that Xbox has such a smaller market share.
I was literally about to say that same thing.
Yeah, right. They're losing to PlayStation like 4 to 5 consoles to 1. I don't know, like I use Game Pass extensively. Like it is like it's part of my rotation. So I'm always playing something from Game Pass. But I don't know. Like, do you think it's changed your buying habits?
Not really, honestly. I had kind of started pulling back a while before Game Pass even came out because I had bought so many games on 360, and then we were getting free games on Xbox One with the games with gold, and I was just drowning in backlog, so I'd already pulled back. If anything, I'm playing more games on Game Pass only because of the FOMO of leaving Game Pass.
Sure.
So I'll pop on and play something and something, but no, that didn't really change a whole lot with me. I don't think it has for a lot of people. I mean, if anything, I think it's a great way to find little games that people probably wouldn't have bought otherwise. Citizen Sleeper and its sequel are a big one. I mean, and the list goes on of weird indie games that I don't think most people would even bother trying unless they were free, quote unquote.
Yeah.
So,
like I'm 100% on the same page, and I know that and even in terms of like the game buy in public, we're probably outliers in terms of how many games we buy in general.
Such an outlier,
right? Like we buy too many video games to start with, and even if we pull back, we're still doing more than most people. And so I think I'm with you. I think Game Pass has definitely directed my game, like the amount of time I spend on some games, and into areas where I might not have. Because I definitely get that FOMO thing where it's like Magical Delicacy, for example, leaving Game Pass is one of those things this week where I'm like, fuck, I wish I'd had time to get to it.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to.
Same with what's the one, the
Golden Idol?
Polynesian Breath of the Wild.
Oh, Tashia.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
And Flock.
Flock
also was fun.
Yeah. And so again, those are games that if they were on a sale and they were like 50% off, I might have gone, might add that to my backlog. Maybe. But who knows if I ever would have got around to playing them. I still have nearly 200 games in my unplayed backlog on my Xbox of just things that I bought. Again, almost all of them on sale, because that's the classic thing is that the difference wasn't, I wait for it to go on Game Pass or I buy it at full price when it comes out. It's like, no, I just put it on my wish list and I wait for you to get it 50% off. Otherwise, I just don't even look at your game at all. Or it comes to Game Pass, you get paid up front, and I play the shit out of it, have a good time with it, talk about it on the podcast, try to get other people to play it. Like, it's maybe changed my behavior a little bit, but I don't think in terms of a revenue piece that, I don't know. I do understand, like, this is the tech bro approach of, like Uber did, where it was like, offer a service that is undercutting all your competition until it becomes the norm and then jack up your prices. Like, Game Pass right now is a fantastic deal. I do not expect that to last much longer, to be honest.
Even with the price hikes, it really is. And I agree. I don't know, because I feel like this whole thing is just something we won't be able to tell until it's foresight or a hindsight. Yeah. Like, it's still such a new concept. And it's weird because I don't hear people saying the same thing about like PS Plus or anything like that.
Yeah,
which is obviously isn't quite as extensive as Game Pass, but still,
I think a lot of that is that day one, those day one releases on Game Pass Ultimate are really the sticking
mhm.
point for a lot of people in terms of saying they're devaluing the latest Halo, the latest Fable, the latest. But
That's kind of Microsoft stuff though. So I mean,
yeah, but I guess it's this thing where like I really enjoyed South of Midnight, right?
oh
Like
yeah, me too.
great game, really good game. Compulsion Games, Microsoft Studio came out day one to Game Pass Ultimate. I played it almost as soon as it came out. Would I have picked that up day one to play right now? Well, knowing it's a smaller title, single player, maybe one playthrough. I don't know. Oh, did it go on like a 40% sale? Like 6 months after it came out. Maybe then I'll play it. But
Hmm.
there's no guarantee. Easy to get missed. I think like I've also talked about how Game Pass is such a good marketing tool. I think it's like you said, like a curated list of showing people things that are available that they might not have even known about, and like being able to highlight those and get those away from the competition. So I understand where they're coming from in terms of saying like this is a common technique to try and get rid of your competition and then take over a market, and it does impact the way people maybe think about games, but and like the idea being is like if it's not on Game Pass, people don't see it, which is fair enough. Like if you look at TA numbers, for example, which I know TA is like a subset of a subset, but still it's a decent idea, a way of seeing how many people have
Yeah,
played a
it's a good
game
measure.
from a ratio perspective at least. And like yeah, stuff that is on Game Pass, a lot of times if it doesn't have a big studio behind it or a lot of marketing, just you get less than 1,000 people who pick it up and start it.
Hmm.
And yeah, like that sucks, but I feel like that's like you said, like the Steam sale is the same problem, right? Steam has the same problem where there's just so many games. I saw a whole thing like last week that was people talking about. There was like an industry analyst talking about it's like how people buying and not playing games is what keeps the fucking industry afloat. It's like
Hmm.
if people weren't buying things at 30% off and putting them in their backlog and never touching them, you wouldn't have half the industry in the place that it is today. I think it's just there's a consumer behavior piece here that I think is more about like games as an experience as opposed to games as a product. But then there's a whole nother discussion too around like ownership. But
Yeah, I think they're kind of all right, honestly. Like, yeah, it's devaluing. I'm sure there are plenty of people that won't spend full price on a game if they're an Xbox, of course. Obviously, this is again, as we just said, that's the minority of the market. But I'm sure there are plenty of people that aren't going to buy something unless it's on Game Pass or play it. They can play for free. But then there clearly are still people buying these games. So is it damaging? Probably a little bit, but is it substantial enough to matter yet? Yet, keyword there. No, I don't. Doesn't appear to be. Otherwise, these deals would not be happening.
true.
So I don't know. I think it's a little column A, column B, and I think overall time will tell. It's a
Mm.
little too early. Can't believe it's been 8 years, but I feel like it's only kicked off maybe the last 4 years ish. When
Yeah,
did they do day one on Game Pass right out of the gate? I
they
can't remember. I
it
can't.
was pretty early on, but they also didn't have any first party launches for a long time, right? Like that was
That's fair.
there
That's
was
probably
nothing to
why it feels
show
like
in
it's just
that
kicking
camp.
off.
And there's still the odd stuff that releases into Game Pass that is not first party that's still day one, like just kind of ports and releases and bits and pieces. But yeah, I don't know. I am curious to see where it goes. I do love Game Pass as a service right now. I use it extensively. It is the main way I get new games. I do buy the odd thing, but almost never buy anything full price outside of like stuff that I absolutely have to play or things I really want to support.
Hmm.
Like, I think I bought like Metaphor last year, and I think I bought Soul Reaver, and those are the two that I've like bought full price. Everything else has been on a discount.
Similar. It's Visions of Mana and the Dead Rising remake because I wanted to support those, so I bought them full price and I
Yeah,
wanted to play them.
exactly.
So
And
other than that, I think the only other new game I played was South of Midnight, and it's
yeah,
Game Pass. So
so it's like I think there still will be places where it's like if people really want to support a game, they will still buy it. If people really want to have a game to be part of their collection forever, then of course the only way to do that is to buy the game. But for people like us, and for a lot of people like us, where it's like gaming is a commodity, gaming is an experience as opposed to a collection. then it's like, yeah, because I have so many games that I'm never going to go back to, and like I own a lot of them. So like having the Netflix for games is the perfect sell for me.
That's a big part too for me. I do not replay games. So the fact that I don't own it and it's a license, I don't care.
Yeah,
Once I get my achievements, I'm never touching it again unless it gets more. So
yeah. And realistically, if I
I
absolutely
literally
have to go back to it, I can just buy it
yeah,
if I
that's true.
have to.
I literally installed Disney Dreamlight because I'm like, oh, I did like that game to play for fun. Didn't even boot it up. I ended up uninstalling it like 2 weeks later. Just
Yeah,
I'm done with it. It really is just not worth it.
yeah, I'm totally with you. But I know we're also in the minority, so I'd be very curious to hear what other people's thoughts are on this.
Yes,
So get in the Discord, let us
we
know.
are the minority. Look down on us. It's fine. We were strong for it.
Speaking of Microsoft first party, apparently Bethesda has
ooh.
multiple Fallout projects in development. Which, I mean, first of all, no shit. But second of all, why are we only hearing about this now? Like, what's going on?
And it's only rumors.
It is only rumors, exactly. Yes. So yeah, there's some rumors here that apparently there's multiple projects, and one of them is apparently the one we've been waiting for, which is, clearly some sort of New Vegas sequel. One is probably the Fallout 3 remaster that there's leakier than a
That we
sieve.
know about for so long.
Yeah, don't know what's happening with that, but we've kind of theorized that maybe it's like Fallout 3 remastered comes out around the same time as Fallout Season 2 TV show does, to kind of do a bit of co-marketing, which would make a lot of sense because I feel like you wouldn't have another big game come out like that, like a Fallout 5 or a New Vegas 2 or whatever, without showing it a bit first or teasing it. Like those are the kind of games you don't shadow drop. I just don't think. I think it would be nuts to do that. But
Yeah, the Fallout 3 remake maybe. Probably, because I mean they did it with Oblivion. But with like a full new-ish game, yeah, they've got to at least say, hey, it's coming.
yeah, something. I mean, to be fair, like Fallout 4, they did tease, or they showed it off like 6 months before it came out. And that was a pretty...
That was a very short turnaround.
Yeah, which I think was great. Like everyone was
them.
really excited for it. I mean, Fallout 4 was a kind of not a great game, but like that way of doing things outside of, the other side of it where you have like Elder Scrolls 6, which they talked about, 100 years ago. And we still haven't seen anything about it. But the fact that we had no co-marketing stuff with Halo, with the TV show, I mean, they did the Fallout Shelter thing, but that was it. Like it just felt crazy.
No. That's gotta be a textbook lesson someday on just missing the mark.
Yeah.
Like wow. Because the show raised all the audience of the old games. Like numbers across the board went up for all these old games. Can you imagine if they had anything new to sell to people that would have made so much money? They dropped the ball so hard. Like, man, that's going to be legendary.
Yeah, and it's like, I can just thinking about like, I remember we theorized that when Bethesda got acquired and then Obsidian got acquired, we were like, okay, cool. Fallout as a franchise now has more studios to go to potentially, or to be farmed out to. I can't believe it's been this long since Bethesda was acquired and we haven't seen a new Fallout in some form, even if it isn't from the Bethesda Game Studios team, right? Like obviously they were working on Starfield, and now they're working on Elder Scrolls 6. Again, we didn't see anything about Elder Scrolls 6 at the game. Like, when the fuck is that happening? But
yeah, and are they even working on Starfield anymore?
Yeah, right.
There's more DLC
there was a rumor there was more DLC, but we didn't see anything about that either. I really don't know. But like, New Vegas 2 was a day one for me though. Like that's
100%.
Yeah.
If they announced the New Vegas 2, would you want it in the New Vegas style, or would you want it in a new engine, or like the Fallout 4 engine or something? Or even the old style, but in Oblivion Remastered.
I'd say Oblivion Remaster is probably more like where it's like it looks nice on the front, but they kind of have some of the old stuff running in the background or something.
So that jank a little bit. Yeah.
I mean, like you don't need a voice protagonist. I want more I want more options. I want the Fallout 3 style, the New Vegas style, not the Fallout 4 style, and definitely not the Starfield style is almost there. Actually, to be fair, it's pretty good, but yeah, I don't know.
See, I know they don't sell, but I would love just literally a New Vegas 2, but it's the exact same engine still.
Sure. Fuck
that
it.
same like. But I know they don't sell, and it's never gonna happen. But
Yeah.
I would love that. That'd be awesome. And you'd think it'd be cheaper for them too, but I guess maybe not worth the price of selling it. But then also it's New Vegas too, so maybe I don't know. Microsoft, let me on your board, please.
Please. I
Please.
want to know what the fuck's going on.
That too. I'll be your inside mole.
Yeah, exactly.
But do you think we'll see any of these anytime soon? I mean, we are past Summer Games Fest, so next is Gamescom, I believe.
Yeah, which you probably won't. You don't usually see new stuff at Gamescom outside of like, it's more like the traditional
least for them.
trajectory was see it at E3, play it at Gamescom was kind of the thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so Summer Games Fest kind of does a little bit of that already, but apparently there wasn't a lot playable at this one. So I guess the next big thing, I guess, would probably be Game Awards in terms of announcements in December.
Announcements, I guess so. But if this was going to be something smaller, kind of released, not quite under the radar, but not a huge AAA release, they could do it at Gamescom.
Sure, that's true. Yeah, like if you're going to,
I mean, because think about it, they say the word Fallout, that's going to be news, front page news everywhere. So they kind of have their pick of the litter here. I guess it depends on how much build up they want to the release. When's the season? Do we know when season 2 of Fallout's coming out? I forget.
Next year. I don't think it's this
not
year.
super long.
It's not too far away.
Oh, okay, so I guess they do have a little. Maybe it is Game Awards.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like Game Awards would probably make a lot of sense to have something to.
Because again, all they gotta do is be like, "Hey, here's the Fallout TV, the season people come out. They present a reward, and then at some point maybe drop the trailer." And it's all news.
Get Walton Goggins to come out and. Yeah, because so Fallout Season 2 comes out in December, so actually that lines up almost perfectly for them to tease something new, even if it doesn't like shadow drop right then. But like, if like, hey, we got a March release for this new Fallout thing going on or whatever. I don't know.
I feel like they'd want that on people's radar before the show comes out, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Unless it was the Fallout 3 remaster, because that's gonna be shadow drop.
Yeah, I think they could just shadow drop like they did with Oblivion, because apparently Oblivion one did quite well. So.
Yeah, again, case in point of the whole Game Pass argument. I've heard that sold very well. So,
there's a real question of also who's available to make these games and that sort of stuff. But again, it is just a rumor, so we don't want to get too bogged down in it. But
but please give me something to Fallout. It's been so long.
Yeah, do it.
I ran out of stacks. I need to play.
Do a 3 remaster, do a Vegas 2, and do a Fallout 5, and release them all within a year of each other, and then you're sorted. Done, guys. Come on.
Fallout 5 we're not seeing until what 2030.
Yeah,
so don't even get your hopes up there.
That's happening, unfortunately. But yeah, Todd Howard will probably retire before that happens.
Guy kind of deserves it, honestly, at this point.
You know, he can only put on the jacket so many times. Speaking of things being delayed, Marvel's Blade apparently still won't be ready for a few more years. Just
like the movie. Great.
Well, the movie's never fucking happening. It's a cursed franchise, I got to tell you. Like, it's crazy.
Did you hear they sold all the costumes from the Blade movie to the Sinners? That was a lot of their wardrobe.
Sinners, wardrobe. Yeah.
Wolf.
I like Sinners.
Yeah, I don't think
but yeah, not a good sign.
Movie.
Obviously.
Oh my god. Mahershala Ali is just not. He's not. There's no way. It's never happening now.
Feel so bad for him because he was so excited to play Blade. And it also makes that joke in Deadpool versus Wolverine even funnier. But yeah, the Blade game is also not in a great spot apparently. According to Arcane Studios' latest financial report, they talk about a AAA project, which is most likely Marvel's Blade because it's the only one they've announced. Apparently only entered full-on production at the end of last year. Given that full production is probably 2 to 3 years minimum, probably more, this sounds like it might be a next-gen release at this stage. Or a cross-gen release at best. Which, I mean... we're probably not going to see anything. I mean, there's not much to say here because there's not much to say. Like, they've been super quiet about Blade for a long time. Outside of that initial cinematic trailer, which kind of just announced that it was happening. Blade in Paris. But it is the main thing that Arcane was apparently working on, which, given the cuts that we've seen and the kinds of studios and projects they've been working on being ones that took a long time and didn't feel like they were going anywhere, I think your point earlier around there being more cuts if that does happen, I think Arcane is maybe in a little bit of a rough spot, given they haven't
Yeah,
put
because I
out.
don't think they've had a major hit in a while.
Yeah, so what's the last big thing they did was or like the Arcade
I mean,
One.
Deathloop was critically acclaimed, but I don't know if that sold well.
No,
And Dishonored 2, same way.
and again that was so. Dishonored 2 apparently was doing quite well, and there was I remember that leak for the Microsoft leak with the court case. One of the things on there was a Dishonored sequel, like a Dishonored 3, and so that might still be in the mix somewhere, although no one's confirmed anything, obviously. So maybe it's, I don't know, but like yeah, you do definitely feel like Marvel's Blade is like would be a big hit in terms of like it's a franchised IP, a sort of character that like it's got like definitely like a cult appeal to it, and I feel like Arcane is definitely the studio for that, especially if it's first person. But again, we just don't know. Like they announced Blade. I'm just looking at the news story here. They announced it back at the end of 2023 at the Game Awards, and so maybe we see something at this Game Awards. But the fact that we didn't see anything from, again, like Arcane is a pretty big studio for Microsoft. The fact that we haven't heard anything about it is kind of a little bit worrying. But we'll see. It has only been a couple of years, but the fact that like, the game's not scheduled to come out for probably like 2028 at this point feels like a long way away.
I don't know. Reading the report and everything, it does seem vague. I don't think anyone really knows for sure.
Yeah, I can understand.
So they're putting
on it.
Looks like they're making connections that aren't technically there. A lot of these news articles I've seen. So I think that we really don't know. Yeah. It is weird that we haven't heard from it in a while, but I don't know. Arcane and Bethesda, huh?
Yeah. I like Deathloop though. Deathloop was an interesting game. I feel like maybe the concept wasn't.
I need to play that, man.
Wasn't quite as well fleshed out as I was hoping, but I think that as a game, it was a really, really cool idea. Also,
I'm a big fan of Arcane right now, but
Dishonored. Well, yeah, actually, we'll get into that shortly, actually, because that's probably not a bad transition. I will just quickly go through the Game Pass updates. We're recording this on the 12th, so we don't know what the next wave's going to be, but right now we've had the Ascent rejoin. We had Minami Lane just join, which apparently is a very cute, like 2 to 3 hour management game. We had Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4 just join yesterday, and then we have High on Life rejoining the service on the 15th. And then leaving on the 15th, we have Flock, Mafia Definitive Edition, Magical Delicacy, Chia, Callisto Protocol, and Case of the Golden Idol. If you have to pick one, Case of the Golden Idol is the one to play. It's not very long, 4 to 5 hours. You can make sure you grab the DLC as well. It's a fantastic, fantastic game. Don't use a guide if you can avoid it.
Yeah, it's not super complicated. Definitely worth just using without a guide. patreon.com/rollergamers if you want to help support the show. We literally couldn't afford to do it without you guys. So a huge thank you to Old Mate Clown, Cavaliers07, Hack and Pone, Kung Fu Skills, Happy Moogles, Admiral Awesome, Natolinator, Lee Howard, Left for Legacy, and Venoms AU for helping support the show. We do extra content, so the before and after stuff of like the stuff recorded before we go live, as well as Lights, Camera, and Action, which I know we haven't done the second part of, but I've been trying to get all 4 of us in a room together to do it. Jake has just been very busy, and Cameron's been busy, and he's planning a wedding, and I've been away for work and stuff. So yeah, we will get to it. I do want to talk about Sonic 3 because it is a fantastic film. But if you do want to help support the show, sorry, yes. Yeah, and subscribe. No, I was gonna say subscribe more because also my appearance fees are expensive. So
that's
if you
true.
See more of me, you gotta
exactly. Yeah,
you gotta pay out. So
yeah,
I'm not busy at all. I'm just waiting to get paid. So
he's that dollar bill, y'all.
Yo.
So yeah, and again, we don't get any of the content behind higher tiers or anything. If you give $2, if you give $10, you give $20, you all get access to the same stuff. We don't want to gate that. We just want to give a little bit extra for those who want to help support the show, rather than you just throwing money at us and being like, thanks guys, and then you just kind of do what we normally do. So, and if there is other stuff you'd like to see, we've been talking about doing themes for the before and after show stuff around like topics we want to talk about, or like deep dives, or other things like maybe like genre talk, or other movie stuff potentially. Again, like we've got a shitload of opinions. We love to chat. So, and if you throw money at us, that's obviously a good reason for us to do anything. So, let us know, especially on the Discord. We also have the Bimestral Burden, which is our every 2 months we come up with a bit of a theme for you to play games and talk about them, and try and encourage you to go back to your backlog. So for July and August, we're doing co-coping. So it's you and your buddies up against the world, team up and play your co-op games. So yeah, let us know if you're playing your Divisions or your Monster Hunters or anything like that. Anything where you can team up with people and have a good time. We want to hear about it, especially this sort of PvE stuff. World War Z's, again, we have a lot of chat about it in the Discord. Figure we just make a nice little theme around it and see how people do. All right, I've been chatting for way too long. Shane, what do you got in terms of what you've been playing?
I hate everything.
Okay,
I hate Arcane.
Good start.
I hate achievement hunting. I hate video games. Nope. So since I haven't been on in a little bit, but the last 2 weeks has been nothing but Dishonored. And not Dishonored, the Legacy Definitive Edition, whatever it's called. 360. Baseline Dishonored. So the game's okay. I played through the main game first. I think most people know what Dishonored is. It is a stealth game. There are, achievement hunter-wise, 2 playthroughs at least?
Yep.
Because you need to
chaos,
beat it in low chaos and high chaos. It's smart, but not necessary to combine, like, not killing anybody, not being spotted, things like that into your low chaos playthrough, because you're not killing anybody, so obviously. And then high chaos, just going wild and doing all like the side missions, collectibles, and blah blah blah. I thought it was a pretty okay game. A lot of the mechanics aren't quite there. Like blinking is your teleport. I never felt it was fun to use. I always had to like stop and like aim and kind of get it just perfect and then blink. I couldn't just run, blink, and fighting melee combat's not great. You can tell it's not super made for it. The stealth stuff's great.
Yeah.
I had fun when you go into the buildings a few times here and there, and you're stealthing around and you're warping, because you do have a second, warping to under a table or up into the rafters. And I love stealth games, so I was all down for all that. But then they're like, hey, those mechanics, they don't work super great. So why don't we make an entire DLC where all you do is use these jank, garbage mechanics to do time trials or score challenges? And I can't remember the last time I was that angry. These are the Dunwall City Trials, and F all of that. Pardon my French. I know not a lot of people that watch this turn in my streams, but I am so sorry if you did, because I was screaming. I was so angry because you played this, right?
Oh,
I
yeah,
remember that.
I have not finished these.
Yeah,
The infamous trials that I get shit about all
God.
the time whenever this series comes up. Yeah.
Oh my God, man. I don't blame you. I don't. I always do this to myself. I started with the hardest first. I knew exactly which one it was because I had a friend that did this. My achievement hunting buddy, he did this a couple years back, and I remember being on headset with him and just hearing him complain about the tall boys and how they keep killing all his people and how he can't get back alley brawl. All right, a lot of these are RNG based, which is already BS. But again, you're dealing with janky melee fighting, you're dealing with janky teleporting, and it's just for back alley brawl. There's an achievement related to. There's 10 challenges. And there's an achievement related to most of them. Yeah. The hardest is By My Hand Alone, where you have to beat Back Alley Brawl by... Everybody has to die by your hand up to wave 13. For anyone not aware, it's kind of an arena. And it spawns in... You always know there's going to be... okay, well, actually, no, that's even random. It spawns in a certain number of enemies. This wouldn't be bad, except... They are of different factions a lot of the times, and they will kill each other. And oh my God, the amount of times I would warp forward, kill a guy, turn around, and some a-hole killed a dog instantly, ruining my entire run so many times. And it gets worse because, wave 12, these enemies called tall boys spawn in that one-shot every other enemy in the game. So if they spawn in and then a assassin spawns in, they're going to immediately start shooting rockets at them and kill them. It's so frustrating. But that wasn't the hardest one. I finished that in probably like 3 hours of white hot rage. Mm-hmm. What got me was bonfires, which is, so you're in a map and you have to reach these checkpoints that they randomly they're always in set positions, but you never know which one you're gonna get. I think there's what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 of them, and you never know because it's a pretty big map too. So if one spawns up on this clock tower, I called it. I don't think it's a clock tower, but it's a big tower. And then there's one way over in the beginning. You have to race over there, and the faster you get to it, the more points you get, and you're also racing the clock because you only get so much time. So I think you get 5 seconds back after like the first 5. The first 5 are 10 seconds, but after that it's 5 seconds each. So it takes you more than 5 seconds. You're losing time slowly but surely. The achievement is you have to do 6 special jumps. So like you have to jump from this location and jump on this little platform and then hit the target, and that's a jump. That was really annoying. And then, oh man, I'm just rambling. I was so mad constantly. It was so frustrating. The achievement's not terrible, but then you also have to get 3 stars on every challenge and expert variation if they have them. And this expert I spent almost 8 hours over 2 nights, over and over and over, because it's RNG. So you could be doing. I was going fast. I'm good at video games. God dang it. So I was going as fast as I possibly could, and it still would be like, okay, you have to go to the beginning. Okay, you have to go up that tower, the farthest part you can go. Okay, cool, I got that one. Jump down, go to that one. Oh, it's starting again. Oh, it's back up the tower again. Okay, so I'll run up the. It's so frustrating. It was so frustrating. Yeah, so those are the 2 hardest ones. I did those first. I've yelled and yelled and yelled. There's one where you have to race through, killing people and shooting them, which the shooting mechanics aren't great, as fast as you possibly can. There's another one where you have to shoot oil barrels out of thin air, out of the middle of the air as a like skeet shooting. The aiming is not good in this game. Maybe with a mouse. Maybe the Windows version, if you're doing it on there, I bet it's a lot better. I bet it is. But oh my god, the controller was rough. And that's all it is constantly. I saved the best for last. All I have left are the stealthy ones and some puzzle ones. And those seem like they'll be far more doable.
Yeah.
But I hate Arcane. Like, I hate them. Legitimately. I want to look at the credits and see who worked on this DLC so I can like shame them or something. How dare you? How dare you think that your mechanics are solid enough to do this to us? It's so. How far did you get in them?
Not far at all.
Did you try them at all?
I did. I definitely bashed my head against a few of them and was like, "There's no way I'm ever going to complete this." And so I was just like, you know what? Like, it's just not worth the time.
It really does feel like that at first, man. It really does. You jump in like, this is how.
Yeah.
How again? 8 hours of just running in circles. Oh, start again. Running around in circles. Start again. Oh. The expert version of Bonfires also has assassins around that will utterly destroy you, and you have limited mana. What a nightmare. The only reason I 3-starred that challenge is that apparently if you are so bad and you screw up enough, one of the times you restart, it erases all the assassins off the map. At least giving you some chance of doing it. And it still took me an additional 4 hours after that. So, oh my god, man. What utter garbage. I don't... Oh, okay. I was going to say I don't get angry much. I get angry a lot. But that's the angriest I've been in a while.
Yeah.
I don't blame you for just noping out of it. I hope you go back to try it again at some point.
One day. But I still also have the Xbox One version, the definitive edition, to do the same thing on as well. So that's, yeah.
I will never do a stack of this. I might do Dishonored 2 someday, but screw that game. I would have actually probably finished the Dunwall City Trials this week, but what is it? It was Friday when we started this. On Thursday, Xbox Live was down, which is the 360 network. So I couldn't log on, otherwise I would have finished it. So I did play something else. I played what's that game called? Final Fantasy 15 Multiplayer Comrades.
Oh, Comrade. Yep.
So yeah, I played a little bit of that. Got another achievement in it. That was my achievement for the day. So I am going to play my 2024 game that I think people ignored next week. And it's the Outlast City Trials. The Outlast Trials.
Oh
So
yeah, okay. I'd
that
be
should be
interested to hear your thoughts on that.
interesting.
Yeah, I've heard mixed
Yeah,
things.
I guess my friend bought it for me. She's like, "You want to play this with me and my husband?" I'm like, "Okay." It released in 2024. Perfect. Cool.
Sure.
I don't think that got much attention, so sounds good. I need a game on the list, but I don't know. Rage, anger, rage. I can't believe. Why are people watching me just scream at a video game for 3 hours? What the heck? I had more engagement and viewers than I've had in like forever. I
It's
I don't get
cathartic.
it.
You know, a lot of
Makes
people
no
have tried that
sense.
DLC, especially in our community. Like it's infamous in
Yep.
terms of how ridiculous it is.
And my daughter was pointing out because we watched Game Grumps. She's like, "Oh, remember Aaron getting angry?" I'm like, "Yeah, but I feel like they're fun about it." I was white hot, wanting to kill something. Rage. It's not fun. Not fun for me, at least.
No, yeah, exactly.
So
Not fun to the person it's happening to, for sure.
hopefully you played something a little more interesting and fun.
Yeah, I mean, I've been very busy this week, so I haven't had time to play as much as I would have liked. But I did finish up Legends of Mana, or Legend of Mana, as I should say.
Yeah. How was it? How was it? What'd you think?
Okay, if you put a gun to my head, I could not tell you the plot of this game. It's
How dare you?
I think it's a really interesting experiment, but I can see why it has a 6.5 ratio. Like, it's the kind of game where you start and you're like, what the fuck is this? What is this? Like, I don't, like, it's like, the game's like, okay, cool, choose a character, choose a spot on the map to start. And you're like, wait, what? Does that matter? It's like, yes, it fucking matters. And you pick a spot,
Very much.
and then it's like, okay, cool, now put down your house. Okay, I'll put my house here, I guess. It's like, no, I guess your game's kind of fucked now. You're probably going to need to restart. If there was not a guide for this, I don't know how you would figure any of this shit out. I don't know how people figure this out in the PS1 days. But it is a very interesting anthology game where there are three main storylines based around areas that you go to and characters you interact with, along with a shitload of smaller storylines around it, to equal like 67 different quests, you might call them. Most of them are relatively short, kind of bite-sized experiences, maybe like 10 minutes, if that. And I thought most of them were quite interesting, but they're very disparate, and you can do them in a lot of different orders, and you meet a lot of characters that you kind of interact with once and you never see them again. You can go back to them, but they don't really seem to have anything going on. The world seems very disjointed, like intentionally, in that you can place as you unlock these, you finish these missions, you get artifacts that you can put on the map to generate another area to go to. And a lot of those areas, like you get like towns, you've got like dungeons, you've got kind of a mix. I don't get it, but it seems like it has a lot of interesting systems. Like the crafting system is very in depth. There's a whole plant growing system. There's a pet system. Like there's a lot in this game. But I can definitely understand why someone coming from something like I was coming from Trials of Mana, which is the previous game, and jumping into this and being like, what the like this feels like chalk and cheese. And this, I know this game is very much like the black sheep of the family in terms of like the Mana games.
Very much.
But it was really, really cool to experience. I'm glad they got it done because I started it back in January and just kind of bounced off it quite quickly and kind of got overwhelmed by all the options and choice and not really understanding how the game works. But I was worried because we're coming up on it being 12 months since it joined Game Pass. I was worried that it was going to end up on the leaving list, so I decided to knuckle down and work on it. Thankfully, it just got added to, on the 12-month mark, just got added to the Game Pass standard tier, which usually means it's got at least another 6 months in it before it goes. So I didn't have to rush too much, but I'm glad that I got it done. I had a pretty good time with it, and it was one of those things where it was very compelling. Like, occasionally I run into stuff like Octopath Traveler 2 is another JRPG that I'm sort of slowly working on, that I'm bouncing off of quite a bit, where I'm just like, it's just not hitting for me. And that's also a similar kind of bite-sized game, where it's like you have a lot of different stories across different characters, and you kind of pick and choose which ones you do, sort of. And this is kind of a similar vibe, but I had a lot more fun playing through this like more actiony battle system. I had fun grinding out some of the abilities and like learning how some like the different weapon moves and stuff work. And yeah, like there's probably like maybe 5 or 6 hours too much grinding in this game, but overall, like I actually quite enjoyed it by the end of it. I was actually having a pretty good time.
What was your weapon of choice?
I went for the staff for a little bit, and then I ended up going with the fists because I just doing the being able to suplex an enemy is just so satisfying. Like again, like there's a lot of timing around.
Yes.
Like if they're using an ability, you use your one won't hit them. But if you time it just right, we just literally just pick them up, throw them into jump into the sky, and suddenly just drop down on them is just with like lightning strikes and shit. It has all that like ridiculous bombast that like would take an enemy down.
I love all that
one
sprite
hit.
work too, man.
Yeah, the
It
sprite
looks
work
so
is
good in
amazing.
HD. Oof.
Yeah, they've done some
Yeah.
nice work to upscale that as well, and yeah, I think overall it's a really really fun game. But you're gonna need a guide. There's a really good guide on PlayStation trophies, but you're not gonna get anywhere without one of those because it's
Unless you're gonna play multiple times like I did as a kid because you didn't have the internet and you're just gonna raw dog it over and over and over.
yeah
Because you can. It's New Game Plus.
Yep.
It's multiplayer, but yeah, you're gonna. There are things that. So I did the completion. I was number 2 in the world to finish that when it came out,
remember, yeah.
and there were quests I did that even as a kid playing that over and over again, I had never seen before. Like it is very much like he's talking about. There's a map and you put artifacts down. If you mess up that placement, there are quests that you will never see, ever.
yeah.
And yeah, it's wild. I don't know what they were thinking when they made that game. I love it to death, but it is weird. Forget your horoscope. What's your element? Which spirit are you going with?
Probably salamander. I'd look fire. Probably.
Oh yeah, good call. Good call. Good call. Good call. Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously my favorite one.
Yeah, of course. And then staying on the JRPG train, I've been playing Final Fantasy 16. So recently, Shadow dropped on
that's right, that came
Xbox,
out.
which I'm super excited about. And then I had to go away on holiday and I didn't have access to it, which is very annoying. So I jumped back into it. Everyone in the house wants to see it because it's very story related and kind of really cinematic. So I haven't been playing it as much as I would have liked because people have lives and stuff and don't have time to just sit there watch me play video games. But I'm really enjoying it so far. I am still very early, maybe like 6 hours in. So basically nothing. But we've kind of got to one of the big reveals, kind of like the things that set the game in motion and kind of the big overall quest is kind of kicked off. I'm really liking it. I love the performances are really good. I love the cinematic nature of it. I know people got a bit upset around the fact that it's very RPG light in terms of like it's much more of an action game with RPG mechanics, which I can definitely understand. Like if I was to come from this from like Final Fantasy X to this, I'd definitely be like, what the fuck is this? But given I've known so much about this game and it's been talked about so long and it's taken so fucking long to get to Xbox, I was ready for all that and kind of went in with those expectations of like what this game was. But overall, yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I want to play more of it. I'll probably talk more about it once I've like sunk my teeth in a bit more and kind of made some more progress. But really, really cool game so far.
It's very cool. Like very cool story, very cool battles. It's supposed to be pretty cinematic.
Yeah. I
Matt
just
Mercer did a great job.
I just did one of the icon battles and it was fucking amazing. It was so cool. And like, yeah, like it's like, oh, it's mostly just kind of like cutscenes disguised by some basic combat, but it is just, it has the
cool,
Godzilla
man.
thing, right? We just have big fucking monsters beating the shit out of each other and like ripping each other's arms off and stuff. And yeah,
Sometimes all you need.
yeah, it's great.
Do you think they'll keep to that combat style now that Claire Obscura did so well?
Yeah, I don't think so. I feel like we're probably going to go back to maybe a hybrid style, like something like, yeah, like an active time battle system or something. I don't know. Like you never know with Final Fantasy because at the same time, like I think 16 underperformed as they always say, but apparently Final Fantasy 7 was it Rebirth? The most recent one apparently did like quite well, and that's kind of a more actiony kind of, it's a more of a hybrid model. So I guess we'll see. I think we'll see kind of what tickles their fancy for a Final Fantasy 17. I mean, the rumor is also the next thing is a Final Fantasy 9 remake that's in development, but be very curious to see what that looks like because that's quite a traditional. That's a very traditional JRPG actually. More in the line with 6, which again, a 6 reboot would be great too.
Yeah, where's Final Fantasy Mystic Quest 2? Give us that.
Yeah, I mean, it was funny actually because I was talking about talking about Mana. I was explaining the Mana series to Alison and being like, well, technically the first Mana game, it's like technically Secret of Mana is actually the second game because the first one was a Final Fantasy spin-off game. That
Adventure,
yeah, Adventure. That they then turned off to their own thing for Sega Denetsu. And so like, actually, yeah. So I'm really enjoying the sort of JRPG. I'm not going to say renaissance because we're not quite back to JRPGs, but we're definitely getting it. There's like a resurgence happening at the moment, especially with things like Claire Obscura, getting a lot of people playing JRPGs again and remembering the good old days of Lost Odyssey and Final Fantasy X and even like the Chrono Trigger stuff. Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot there.
Yeah, yeah, but yeah, between Clair Obscur and Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and the Persona and slash
and Metaphor. Yeah, exactly. Like there's definitely a lot going on in that space.
Eating good.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess the only other stuff I've been playing is Division 2. Been playing that with the boys. We've made some good progress. We finally got to the end of the story, and we're kind of doing some of the DLC stuff now. Trying to get to level 40, getting our gear levels up before we eventually hit up against the, hey, you need to give us some money for this DLC stuff, which we'll be like, okay, well, we'll get a month of Ubisoft Plus and try and grind it out as much as we can. I'm a little bit worried about the raids, because I know you need like 8 players or whatever, and they can be quite difficult. But we'll see how those goes. It's fun. Again, there's a nice, like Legend of Mana is a nice co-op game. So I've been trying to do a bit more of those at the moment. Also thinking about starting Wild Hearts, the sort of EA Monster Hunter style spin-off.
Oh, yeah.
That's on Game Pass as well from EA Play. So could be a good one. Apparently it's got a new update coming out for 4-player co-op with the Switch 2. So very curious to see what happens there. But yeah. And then the last one is Blacktail, which I talked about a little bit ago, is a first-person crafting adventure. I guess it's an adventure game, which is the genre when there's too many things in there and you can't pick one. It's based on sort of Slavic folklore around Baba Yaga, and you kind of play a twin looking for her other twin who's gone missing. And you kind of discover Baba Yaga's hut, and you go through this whole adventure of going through the seasons, working with mushrooms, fighting strange imp creatures and stuff. With a bow, you kind of craft. It's the thing where you craft arrows and you craft spells and that kind of stuff, and you kind of have like a collectibles and like side quests. It's very adventure-y in terms of from a Legend of Zelda kind of perspective, but like first person, quite a lot of combat, a little bit of light crafting. Interesting game. Very colorful. I really like the art and the design of everything. The story is a little bit of a question mark. It's quite surreal and not super well explained. A lot of text boxes and people talking about things like I should know what the fuck they're on about. But interesting. I'm at the end of it. I'm kind of doing the cleanup before I do the final quests. But I'll maybe talk a little bit more about it once I'm completely done with it. But I think overall it's a pretty good game. It's been on sale. It was recommended in a TA article a few months back. So I kind of picked it up for I think it was 65 to 75% off or something. 2 ratio for, I think the only thing is that the story isn't quite grabbing me the way I was kind of expecting it is, because a lot of people talked about it's got a really interesting narrative hook. But I don't know. We'll see. I've only put up 7 hours into it, and apparently it's a 30-hour game. We'll see if that's true, but yeah, it also has a morality system, which is kind of interesting, based around some of your actions in the missions and stuff, and how you get your resources. Do you kill animals for them, or do you pick up do you pick up sticks off the ground, or do you rip stick bugs to pieces to use them? It's all some interesting stuff. But yeah, lots of interesting systems, a lot of collectibles. What does TA got it down as? Yeah, action adventure. I think that's probably about right. But yeah, that's pretty much me. I do really want to play some more stuff. I am going away again at the end of this following week, so we'll see how much I get in. That. It's I'm going to try and put some stuff on my laptop, maybe some smaller Game Pass stuff, just to kind of work on. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Anything else from you, Shane, or we want to move on?
Not really. Just more Dishonored. That's all I've been doing. It's my life now.
Yes. I was going to sounds good, but it really doesn't.
Doesn't, nope.
We've also got the Word Challenge, everyone's favorite competition, where I come up with a game, you go on the Discord, and you go into the Word Challenge channel, and you try to guess what the game is. I give a clue each week, and if you win, a gift pops up, you guess it right. It's an exact match on the bot, so sometimes it's a bit finicky, and sometimes the gifts don't fucking work. So it's a bit of a shit challenge, I'll give you that. But I do give a clue each week, and the first clue for this new game was it was fantasy genre. The second clue is this game is a prequel. And I'm not going to explain any more than that. The game is a prequel, so you need to logic out what that means, because otherwise I'm giving away too much. Because people have been getting them too easy. We got Get Out of Hell got guessed after the third clue last time, so I'm making this one a little bit more difficult. So get your guesses in there. I've seen some good ones so far. Really interesting to see where people's heads at. You get 1 guess per hour, but you can make as many guesses as you like. So jump in there, start putting your list together, start putting your red string corkboard around like what it could be. We also have the leaderboards on TA, which if you want to join, the TA leaderboard gives us a total of how much gamer score you earn each week, and we read out the top 3 every week. So if you want an invite to that in the Discord, let us know. In third place, we have Basham with 25,816. In second place, we have Thrash Forever with 32,350. And a Grey Shark with 54,878.
Jeez.
What the fuck? And like I know they're playing a lot of trash shit, like title update stuff, but even then, that's a lot of games. Completions. Shane, you want to read through those?
Sure. It looks like the Natalinator beat Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare and Carnival games. Super Bob got his ride pimped and Pimp My Ride. Leaf Claw did Borderlands 2 and 9-Ball Pocket. Red Ninja Dan did Cynthia Hidden in the Moon Shadow. Cameron did Revenge of the Savage Planet. Keo also did Revenge of the Savage Planet. And Holio, Splice did Raidu Remastered. Dude that writes long reviews did Borderlands 3. Jake did Lies of P. And Dragframe did F1 2019. Quite an eclectic mix there.
Yeah, I definitely want to call out Splice for finishing Raidu Remastered. That's the PS2 cult classic in the Persona Shin Megami Tensei series. It's set in like I think it's like
yeah.
Yeah, it looks really like sort of active time combat, but within a arena sort of thing, sort of Tales style. Really definitely wanted to play that, but I'm just kind of waiting for a good sale.
Hey, to our point earlier.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's the classic thing, right? There's just so many games to play. But that's pretty much it for the show. Join us on our Discord. If you need an invite link, let us know. I would like put it somewhere, but I would read it out, but it's like a string that's not super helpful to type in. So message us or let us know. Otherwise, if you jump on the Twitch chat, we can put it in there as well. It's also on our Twitch channel. Like I said, we also do this show live on Twitch. Xbox Hall of Gamers is the place to find us. So thank you all for hanging out and asking questions and all that kind of stuff. Jump on next week if you're around. And I also put all the episodes up on YouTube with a fun title and a fun, interesting thumbnail that Char does. A huge thank you to Char for that. So if you want to check out the VODs or the old episodes, you want to see our beautiful faces, if you're just an audio listener, that's probably the place to do it. Shane, what have you got to promote, mate? Yeah, I know you're doing your streams. What's going on?
Yeah, as always, you can go to firehawkd.com just to easily have access to all that stuff. But yeah, I'm on Twitch. I'm on the YouTubes. I'm on the Blue Skies. Posting what I can. But I stream like every night. So if you're bored and want to watch some achievement hunting, come see what I'm playing because it's always something you never know what's going to be. Or what? Let me scream at Dunwall City Trials. Maybe I'll finish it someday.
Then we do know what it's going to be. Yep, exactly. And me, I'm Neomaster on everything, True Achievements, Xbox, and Discord. I don't really do much outside of this in terms of live streaming, but check me out on the Discord. I'm always in there talking about shit, posting food, talking about the games that I'm playing, completions, things like that. I always love a good chat, so feel free to hit me up. But that's going to bring us to the end of episode 176. We will catch you guys next week, probably a little bit earlier because I'm not going to be here. But thanks for joining us. See you later.
Peace.